Latino can no longer be rendered invisible. Latinos are boosting the U.S. economy under the powerful franchising business model. It is time for change and to take actions for the business future of the Latino community.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
We stand for more opportunities for people from all walks of life. Join us to be part of the transformation of the franchising industry, where Latinos have the power to grow on a large scale.
Here we are. Greetings, saludos. Welcome once again to the Latino Franchise Association podcast, Franquiciando. Hey, Moises, how are you?
I'm doing really good. It's a great time to be looking at franchising, I think, in what we're going through in the world in the United States.
Well, today we have a very special event. Someone that recently became a member of the Latino Franchise Association, and on behalf of all the members, the executive team, the board of directors, and everyone that is part of this great association, we would like to welcome Tim Com, who is the president and founder of Image One Facility Services franchise, which is focusing in commercial maintenance, right? That's what you guys do.
Correct. Thank you for having me and for that wonderful introduction. I
appreciate it. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, so we're a commercial janitorial franchise, cleaning offices, businesses of any type, really.
Fantastic. So, first of all, I was looking at your website. I'm very impressed with what you guys have done as a franchise company. And we're going to talk a lot about what you guys have accomplished and all the great things you're doing in the industry, specifically with the Latino community. But before we get there, why don't we start learning who is Tim Com? I mean, people might see you in the franchising, I guess the franchising industry, in conferences, events, conventions. But why don't you tell us, I mean, where your early beginnings, where you grew up, where were you born, and what kind of schooling you did?
And especially, sure. Tim, tell us if you have any relationship with Dominicans, because when I saw that you started a business at 14, the first thing that ran to my mind is you must be Dominican.
No, I'm not. But yeah, but my family has always been in business. My parents were in business, so I grew up in a business environment, and I think that is that's definitely the reason that I got started so early. And I think that's true for a lot of people. Yeah. When your family is an entrepreneurial family and they have that small business spirit, it's just natural. And it doesn't matter what field you're in, what business you're in. I think that's just the natural transition. If kids see their parents running a business, then as they grow up, that's what they want to do. And my kids who are now they're grown, they're 28 and 26. Both of them work. They both run a franchise. They don't work in the corporate side, but they both run a franchise. Wow. And my older son, when he was probably 7 or 8 years old, people always ask little kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the answer, sometimes it's cowboy or astronaut or policeman or fireman. And my son's answer was different. His answer was, I want to be the boss.
Where were you born? Where are you at?
So I was born and raised on in the suburbs just north of Chicago, in a small community called Morton Grove. and grew up there. And then my wife and I got married. We moved a little bit north of there, and then even further north to continue to move further away because housing was less expensive the further you get away from the city. So the
Right.
further we
Same in New
moved, the
York
bigger
City.
house we could buy as we were starting a family.
Yeah, the same in New York City. The further north or the further away from the center of the city, I guess the more,
Exactly.
yeah, the housing is less expensive. I'm online. So you are based out of Chicago. That's home.
Correct. So, well, the office is still in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, which is just northwest of the city, just northwest of O'Hare Airport. And about 7 years ago, my wife and I moved to Florida. So we live here, and I go back to Chicago to the office for 3 or 4 days every month. But fortunately, we've got a great team in place there, and they really know everything to do, and they know how to run the show in my absence, which to me is really the biggest success is being able to grow a business that you don't have to be there every day, and that you can do the things that you want to do and not be tied to an office. And that's one of the things that we really try to strive to work with our franchise owners so that they can do the same thing. So they can do the things that they want with their family, so that they can do the things that they if they want to travel or whatever it is that they'd like to do, giving them the opportunity through a franchise system to be able to do that.
So you're modeling not only the business but life.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, family is so important, and obviously, it's God, family, country. Those are the things, and it's not just that way for me. Our whole team at the office, we let them know, if your kids have a play at school or that big game and you need to leave early, go, because you only get so many opportunities to experience that. And we instill that in our franchise owners as well. We tell them, yeah, it's important to build a big business. Yeah, it's important to be available 24/7 to do what you need to do to grow your business. But if you've got little kids, you've only got 15, 18 years to enjoy them until they're adults, and then they're off at college and they're gone, and you miss those opportunities. So to me, really allowing our franchise owners to have that flexibility to grow a business, but also to be able to spend time with their family and do the things that are most important. That's really one of our key things, and that goes back to why my son chose that he wanted to be the boss, because he knew that I was the only dad that used to be on school field trips. I was the only dad that was at every single football, basketball, whatever game it was, even their practices I would go to. And when they were real little, when both of my boys were in Cub Scouts, I was the only dad that would take 2 full weeks off and go to Cub Scout camp with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they knew that because of being in business for yourself, that's the opportunity that as a small business owner you have. And so I think that's why they wanted to follow it.
That's remarkable, because the rule of thumb is that when your business starts to grow and get intense, you have less time for family and things like that. But here's a model where you are at least able to work it so that you can have a family life, a real life, and
Right.
in the midst of your business growing, because you're working with other people.
Right.
And that's so germane to franchising, isn't it?
So where the inspiration came a year 14. I mean, 14 years old, you should be in high school, learning, getting ready to go to a prom and then go to college. So you started the business at age 14? What the inspiration
I did.
to start the business?
So like I said, my parents were in business for themselves, and they owned a small office building that they occupied part of it, and then they rented out part of it, and they needed to have the building cleaned every day. And so as a freshman in high school, I thought, hey, this is something that I can do. I can empty trash and vacuum and dust and do these light cleaning duties to earn some money. So if I want to take a young lady out on a date, I could do that, or save money for a car, or just even have money just to have fun with my buddies, to go out and hang out and do whatever. And so that's where it started. I started cleaning their office building, and when I turned 16, I did buy a car right away. I had the money set aside, and I had money for insurance and gas and all the other stuff that goes along with it. And then I immediately started going out and soliciting other businesses, because I realized a huge opportunity there.
Mhm.
The cleaning industry, most people don't realize it's a 96 billion with a B billion
Wow.
dollar a year industry. It's huge.
Wow.
And so there's just so much opportunity out there. Everything from daily cleaning to carpet cleaning and stripping and waxing floors, window washing, post-construction cleaning. Those are all the things that we offer that our franchise owners have the opportunity to go out and do. So they're not even just limited to one type of cleaning. There's half a dozen different things that they can do. And from a young age, I saw that, and I knew that that was an opportunity. So I built my business all through high school. And then when it was time to go to college, I went to a local college. I went to North Park. Now they call it North Park University. At the time, it was North Park College on the north side of Chicago. Real small school, and I got my degree there in political science and in accounting. I love politics. It's always been a passion of mine. So that was my primary focus, my major, and then business and accounting was on the. It was like a double major, and I did that obviously because I was in business for myself, and I knew that the more I could learn in school about business, especially in accounting, the more it would benefit me in the long run for the business. And I continued to operate the business all through college. And my senior year, I got a phone call from my counselor. And he said, Tim, I'm worried about you. And I said, why is that? He said, because we've had 2 job fairs. He goes, and you haven't been at one yet.
Mhm.
And I kind of laughed. And I said, well, I'm not looking for a job.
I'm hiring people.
That's exactly it. In hindsight, I was too young. I didn't understand. I should have been at the job fair to recruit some good people.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So I wasn't looking for a job when I was done with college. And so I graduated college in 1992 in June, and my wife and I got married in September that same year.
Which year?
And
Which year was that?
1992. So we've been married 31 years.
Okay.
And waited a few years and then had our first son in 1995, Anthony, and our second son in 97, and Nico. And so they're now 28 and 26 years old. And again, they grew up around business just like I did. So they knew that was the path that they wanted to go to. And I love seeing our franchise owners do the same thing where they're bringing up their kids around the business environment, and their kids want to get into the business. The kids want to take it over. They want to get involved in that family business, which I think is huge. It's a great opportunity.
Well, I can tell that you and I have a lot in common for what I noticed. I did get married also in 1992, and my first daughters, twin daughters in 1995. And believe it or not, the same. They're being heavily involved in the business, and since they were little, they always hang around the office, and I have the same passion for the family. I mean, I always love the fact that because I have been involved in businesses, I have plenty time to go to all the school activities, events, and meetings, and always supporting my girls. They are very heavily involved and very active in sports. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot in common, and I'm glad. But at what year you decided then to start? Taking the business to another level by looking into the franchising business model.
So I had never thought about franchising because I started the business at such a young age, and I didn't need a franchise to get started. I had the support of my family and my parents, assisting me and kind of giving me that guidance. So I guess they were kind of my franchisor because they were my partner. They were the one that gave me direction and would help me with proposals and do those different things. But in about 2001, so after I was in business then for about 16 years, I got approached by a national franchisor that was looking to have a master franchise in the city of Chicago. And so I got approached by them. And I thought, oh, this is a good opportunity. I can be a franchisee of their company, but I would also be a franchisor as a master to set up people in a unit franchise. And so I did that for about 10 years. And when that agreement expired, I felt that there was a better way to do it. The janitorial franchise industry if you dig into it, you'll see that some of the companies that are out there, not all of them, but some of the companies that are out there, really, I think they do a disservice to many of their franchise owners, because they don't train them in sales. They don't train them in operations. Really, they get them started in business, but they never really grow their business to any scalable level.
Mhm.
And so they may have a nice little business, but they're just sole proprietors, usually don't grow it very big, don't have a number of employees. And to me, I thought, there's so much opportunity here. I want to do things differently. So at the end of my 10-year term, the decision was made not to renew. And that's when Image One Facility Solutions was born. So we've been franchising as Image One since 2011. And we did it completely differently. We train our franchise owners in every aspect of the business. So we train them how to do sales. We train them how to do operations. We work with them how to hire people, how to fire people, how to interact with their customers, and really have good communication with their clients. Because this industry it's 100% about customer service. Yeah, we do cleaning, but it's not really about the cleaning. It's about the customer service. There's going to be a day that a garbage can gets missed, or that something doesn't get done exactly the way it was supposed to get done. And if you have good customer service and you have good skills to communicate with your clients and explain what happened and that's not going to happen again, that's where the opportunity to fix that issue and have an even stronger relationship with that client is.
You must have felt or describe how your sense of readiness when you took that step. What were the things that that you considered and you said, okay, I'm ready to do this? Or maybe you didn't feel that way.
It's funny because I talk with people about that kind of thing all the time. And I tell everyone, whether you're looking at a franchise or you're looking to go away to school or you're going to get married, you're going to propose, you're ready to have kids. Mm-hmm. You're never 100% ready to do any of those big things that are a big milestone in your life.
That's true.
And if you wait until the perfect moment and until you're ready, you'll never do it. And so when I talk to potential franchise owners, I usually let them know, look, if you're waiting for the perfect time to do this, if you're waiting until everything is lined up and it's just exactly right, you're not going to do it. And in 5 years, you're going to look back and say, I should have done that. I should have done it, back in 2023 instead of waiting until 2028. There's an old proverb, the best time to plant an oak tree was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. The second best time is today. And, if you want shade in your backyard, it's going to take you 20 years to get the shade in your backyard. But if you didn't do it 20 years ago, do it today, because that's the first step. And I think people that are looking to get into business, it's the exact same thing. It's scary. If they're stepping into a business that they've never been in before, it can be scary. It can be overwhelming. But that's one of the beauties about franchising is then you're in business with someone that has already done it. I made the mistakes, so you don't have to. And does that mean you're never going to make a mistake? No, because we're all human. We all make mistakes, but we're going to do our best to help you follow the path and not make the same mistakes that we've made or that other franchise owners have made.
Well, it's like jumping into a cold pool. You watch people, some people, look like they're going to jump. They count down. They never jump in. Others just come right up and dive in. But everyone who jumps in eventually gets accustomed to the water, the temperature, and it's fine. The water's fine.
Right.
And you're inviting, others. So at some point, you must have really faced some really interesting challenges when you began to scale the business as a franchise. Share some of that. What was that like?
So probably
when you're in the water and feeling comfortable.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes when you're in the water, I think that's a great analogy. You stick your toes in, it feels a little cold, but you're right. You just jump right in. But sometimes when you're in the water, you're just treading water, and you don't feel like you're making any progress. And other times you're swimming full speed and you're making it across. But if you stop swimming and you're not treading water, you're going to sink. And so I think that's important to remember that you need to always be moving. You need to always be doing that. And you asked, what was a difficult time for me in business. The absolute most difficult time for me in business was a time when there was a bit of an economic downturn. My expenses stayed the same, but the income stream was less than what it was, and I ended up owing the IRS $100,000. And that was a very difficult time. And I work with our franchise owners, and I explain this all to them. Don't not file your taxes, whether they're your employment taxes, your 941s, or your personal taxes. Don't not do that. You need to file them every year when they're due. Get that money paid, because if you don't do it, that's something that can cause you to sink. That's like holding a 50-pound lead weight when you're in that pool, and it'll pull you to the bottom. And but that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so it did. It made me stronger. It made my understanding of business better. I never want to be in a position like that ever again. And another thing that I love to that I heard and I love to say is, a lot of people say you can win or you can lose in life, and I don't agree with that. I think you can win and you can learn.
Mhm.
And if you learn something from the mistakes you make, then that too is a win. Sometimes it's an expensive lesson to learn. In my case, with the Internal Revenue Service, was a very expensive lesson to learn, but I got through it and I learned something from it, and ultimately made me a better person. It made me a better business owner, and it allowed me to have a better understanding of something that I could then work with our franchise owners so that they never have to experience that situation.
Well said. Well said. How competitive is your industry? I know that there gotta be a lot of competitions out there. Besides all the other franchise brands, there are a lot of independents, right? That are trying to make it happen out there. But who's your bigger competitors as a franchise? I have no idea. I think I know some of them, but I seen
Mhm.
them. But who are you? Are you against it? I mean, who are your competitors?
Yeah, the competition, there is a lot of competition out there. Like I said, it's a $96 billion a year industry. So there is no one player that has a majority of that market share. It's literally, there's thousands of mom and pop companies. There's hundreds of larger companies, and there's probably about a dozen players that are in the franchise side of the business. So it is a competitive business, and it is there's a lot out there, but it's such a huge industry that there's a lot of opportunity, and the
What
as
is the
every
cost?
other.
How much it costs to open up one of your franchise a
So
location? You require a brick and mortar. They can run it from home, or what is
no,
it?
they run it from home. Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of this business. It is a very low cost of entry. So the franchise fee itself is under $30,000. Right now it's 29,750. There it is. And if you add in all the things that you're going to need over the course of the first year, between your insurance, if you get a vehicle for the company, um, your travel and lodging to get your training done, because you come up to Chicago for a week of training, your total in that
Hold on,
first
hold on.
year.
So you require a vehicle. I see here 0 to 3,000. Is this a lease
Mhm.
vehicle you own? I mean, what do you guys recommend?
Yeah, so you can use your personal vehicle. You don't need to buy a vehicle specific to the business. But if you do, then it's going to cost you, $300-400 a month if you lease it or if you're buying it over time. So I think the way that the graph there is showing it is like in your first 6 months, this is what your startup costs would be. So that's what the vehicle would be. You need an iPad because we have software that's one of the things that really sets Image One apart from all of our competitors. We have developed technology for our franchise owners to use. And so you have to have an iPad. So you get an iPad, we download the apps that we've had developed for you to use. And it's an app that does a survey when you go out and meet with a prospective client, so you can put together the price. Before you walk out of their building, you'll know what the price is to clean their building. And nobody else in the industry has that. It amazes me that nobody in the industry has it. But we developed apps as early as 2011 So we've been doing this for a long time. And so the franchise owners can run their entire business from an app, or I mean, from an iPad, through the different apps and the desktop software that we
That's
have.
that's part of your secret sauce then.
It is absolutely.
And franchising fees, I mean royalties.
So our ongoing franchise fees, the royalty is 10%. The administrative fee, because we do all the billing and all the collection, so the franchise owner doesn't have to worry about that. And to me, that was a huge thing, because there were clients that I had when I was getting started that I never sent an invoice to, and to this day, I've never collected the money because I never sent them an invoice.
Mhm.
And we didn't want our franchise owners to have to worry about that, because they're out there busy working with their crews, working with their clients, and doing that accounting side of it. It's something that can easily slip through the cracks. And so we take care of that for them. We send all the invoices, we do all the collections, and then we pay them when that money comes in. And then there's a 2% advertising fund. So it's a 15% total
Total.
that they pay. So out of every dollar that they bill, the corporate side of Image One keeps 15 cents.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair. What do you think, Moises?
I think it's very fair. Count me in.
How many locations do you have, Tim, already? And where are you guys focusing mostly? Which cities or states?
Yeah, so right now we got our start in the Chicago market, and we've got about 40 franchise owners in the Chicago market. And some of those are kind of under that old model, like the other brands kind of do, where they're kind of just a mom and pop small business where they don't want to have a real big business. And then we changed our model when we became Image One to start training them in sales and operations. And that's what our newer franchise owners um, are doing. So they're going out, they're growing their businesses to the level that they want to. So we've got about right around 20 of the new model. And again, a lot in Chicago, but we've also got a couple three in Florida. We've got a couple in Texas, Colorado. So we're kind of spreading out to see where people are, where they want to be in business. But obviously, the markets that are growing, the southern states are seeing a lot more growth, and that's giving a lot of opportunity. The only two states that we won't go to right now, we're not registered in Hawaii, and we're not registered in California.
Okay.
Any
And
particular reason?
So Hawaii, just because of the distance, obviously it's harder to get out there to support a franchise owner. But if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I'm in Hawaii, I want to open here," we would register there and certainly start them up. California, it's no secret that California has had some issues in the last few years with franchising.
Yep.
And so at this time, until they get that fixed, I just don't feel comfortable. I don't want to have a franchise owner start in California and then they run into problems because of the issues that they're fighting over in California. So once they get that worked out, I'll open in California. But until they figure out the issues that they're having with the franchise industry, we'll sit back. There's plenty of opportunity all across the country, without jumping into California at this point.
You're definitely correct. I mean, I just wrote an article which is in our blog at the Latino Franchise Association website, and basically talking about legislation AB, 1228, which basically is increasing salaries and is really going all the way to try to really force a lot of franchise company. I mean, I don't want to go deep in the whole situation, but it's really nasty. It's really bad what's happening in California. I have to give a lot of credit to the president, the CEO, to Matt from the from the International Franchise Association. Matt has been very vocal, has been really fighting against everything that has been happening in California, all of those legislations, and really figured out a way. Actually, what they're doing is really pushing all of these franchise company out of the state, which is it's incredible. I mean, what's happening? Yeah. I believe they were not able, in the new legislation that was just approved a couple of weeks ago signed by the governor. They specifically focusing on franchising restaurant. It has a lot to do with the union. I think they want to unionize all of these franchise brands, locations, even though it is illegal or it is wrong, because not all the franchise, as you and I know, not all the franchise operate under the same corporation. So every single
Right.
location, every single unit is a separate independent entity, separate corporation. Therefore, any unionized law, anything that should happen, it have to go to that particular corporation that owns that particular unit. So they cannot combine everybody's corporation and put it on the one corporation owned by the headquarters, which is what they're trying to do. I mean, it's a big mess
Yeah.
anyway. But I respect your decision of not going into California. What about Latinos, my friend? I mean, I know this is the Latino Franchise Association, and we are always promoting and the whole idea and part of the mission of the association is to connect, franchisors like you guys, like you and your brand, with the Latino community, so we could have a lot more Latino investing into franchises. A lot of Latino, well, we are entrepreneurial, as it is, and if you look at numbers, team, I'm gonna send you an email. I don't know if I did already, and I'm gonna share with you a report that was released a couple of weeks ago at a conference in Miami, Latitude, which basically says, hey, Latinos in the United States, 65 million Latinos, generating $3.2 trillion. So if we were like a country or republic, we would be like the fifth largest global country in the world. So that's how much power the Latino community is having right now in the United States. But we don't see that. We don't see all of that power into the franchising industry. So it's a total disconnect. And through the association, Moise and I and the rest of the team are working very hard to really educate Latinos so they can see the great, fantastic business opportunity that the franchising business model, provides and connect with franchise brands like the one that you have, which is really appealing for what I see for Latinos. What do you think, Moises?
Right.
Well, this is our daily bread. Um, that we are the United States. In the United States, we've lived with Latinos since day one. I mean, half of the country at one point was part of Mexico, and yet so many of us in the United States think of Latinos as invisible. The wonderful thing about Latinos in our community is how entrepreneurial we are. Right now, I think, according to the official data, about half of every small business that is created in the United States is created by a Latino. So this myth, that people came here to live off the social welfare system is just not true. People are, of course, working in so many industries, sustaining industries, Latinos, whether it's the restaurants and in retail and things like that, but also in business, creating businesses and opportunities and enriching and enlivening neighborhoods. Both Rafael and I both got started many years ago in northern Manhattan, in a neighborhood called Washington Heights. That it, through the process in the 70s, when the economy in New York, we were facing an international recession, and New York economy was absolutely terrible. In fact, New York was practically bankrupt. These Dominican immigrants came in there and began creating businesses, and in less than 2 decades, completely transformed, that neighborhood, and have turned it into something quite different. You go there now, and the quality of the small businesses and the vibrancy that it brings to the neighborhood is just absolutely astounding. So I'd love for you to share some of your experiences with your franchisees that are Latino and working in the Latino community, and in a business that's actually been very close to us as a community. As so many of our,
Right.
the immigrants come in and sometimes with great education and skills, but can only really perform, a cleaning service, until they get themselves, on track.
Right. Yeah, I agree with everything that you just said. And small business is the backbone of the United States. And that is, to me, that is the American dream. Someone that comes here, as a first generation immigrant, and wants to start a business to make things better for their family. I love that. I think that is just the absolute most fantastic thing. And I love the idea of the different visa programs that there are to allow people to come here to operate a business. and be it a franchise or just a general business. But there's so much opportunity, and within the Latino community, it's a huge opportunity. We've got out of all of our franchise owners, I think we have 23 franchise owners that are Latino, and two
Nice.
out of our three largest are Latino. So
23
Jason,
of 100.
23 out of I think we're at 52 now. So 23 out of 52. So it's almost 50%.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Impressive.
yeah.
Yeah.
And our single biggest franchise owner, Jason Avila, and he worked for a trucking company before he started his franchise, and he's been with us 10 years. But his business is he may cross $2 million
Wow.
this year. He's built a really substantial business. So what started out as a small side business for him turned into his full-time business, and he's got a couple dozen employees now, and he's doing absolutely phenomenal. And his brother used to work with him and separated from him, and so his brother Andy is now number three. He's number three in the company, and he's this year. I'm not even sure if he knows it yet. So, but he's going to cross $1 million for the first time this year in 2023, and so that's amazing. When you can start and build a business to $1 million a year business. Now, obviously, that's not the money that they get to keep. That's not their personal income, but
Right.
that's the gross revenue of their company. So obviously they have to pay for their employees and their insurance and supplies and equipment and all that stuff. But obviously, and yet you got to look at the item 19 to get into all the details of what their profitability is. But they earn a very, very healthy income when you're at that dollar amount.
Well,
And
I'm an Avila. It's Avila.
are you? Yeah, okay.
From my grandmother's side.
No kidding. So we've got four Avilas in the system. So three that are related, then one that's not, and then who knows? They might be related somehow.
Yeah.
But so the third one they just started in April, and it was Michael and Esmeralda, and they're cousins of Jason and Andy, and they started in April. Up there they are, and they're doing absolutely fantastic.
This is so typical, the way that you've mentioned it, the way that it starts with a family member engages others, and then they go off and they branch. Because now it looks like the Avilas are really turning this into a family enterprise.
They are. They said they want to take over all of Chicagoland. I said, great.
That's phenomenal. But that's really how our community gets involved in business.
Right. And again, I love working with our franchise owners to see them accomplish their goals. We sit down with them and we work with them on setting what are their goals for a year, 3 years, 5 years. Some of them, when they come to us, they've never owned a home before. They use their franchise to be able to purchase a home.
What's been your experience with financing? When they want to be franchisees, and they don't have necessarily maybe all of the money. What's your experience?
Yeah, so we've been on the SBA approved list for financing for several years. We used to do some internal financing, and then we stopped because financing was so inexpensive. It was easier for them to go and get financing through a bank. It was very easy, and rates were so low. Now rates have obviously over the last 18 months, 2 years, interest rates have gone up a lot. So I think that's inhibiting people's ability to go out and get financing. So we're actually contemplating going back to a financing model where we will finance with them. So if they have 50% of the money down, then we'll finance the rest of it over a period of a couple of years. So it opens up that opportunity for more people, because I think that's that's an important part of it. Is I never want to hear that someone couldn't do it simply because they didn't have the money.
Yes.
And about $50,000 to get started. It's not such a huge amount of money that someone can't get it, but it is a lot of money. It's not just lunch money. And so I think it's super important to help people where we can, so that they can get into the opportunity. And I would never want their finances to stand in the way of that. So if it's a great candidate and they're really passionate and they really want to get into a franchise.
Agreed.
Are you there?
So
Yeah.
I wanted to lead you. This is, I think, a nice segue into you. You wrote a book. I read an
I
interview
did.
that you did about your book. The title of the book is an important title for us at the Latino Franchise Association. Is called New Ideas, No New Ideas, Everything You
Right.
Need to Know About Starting a Successful Franchise. Can you tell us about your book? Why did you write it? When did you write it? At which point did you feel that you had enough to share that was useful for people to sort of jumpstart, a franchise idea or
Right. So I'm glad you mentioned the book because I didn't know that you're going to bring that up. I actually have a copy in front of me. I've always got one there, and you can see it's an Amazon bestseller.
you need to keep it on the bookshelf like they do on television.
Well, there's actually one
Oh,
back
there's
there as
one there.
well. There is. So, but I decided to write the book because when we would go around to franchise shows and I would talk to people, everyone was so overwhelmed. And they walk into a franchise show for the first time and they walk into this huge exhibit hall and there's hundreds of different opportunities. And I don't think most people, when they walk in there, are expecting that. And they see that there's 24 restaurants and there's car care and there's schools and there's everything from after school care to before school care to dog care to you name it, it's there. And they walk in there and they're overwhelmed. And when they walk into a franchise show and they're completely overwhelmed, they go from booth to booth and they hear all these great ideas and they get all these brochures and they go home and they've got a big bag full of brochures, but they're so overwhelmed that they set that aside. And usually when people are overwhelmed, they do nothing. And I thought, what, if I can help people get past that overwhelm to be able to do what it is that they're looking to do, that would be a big win. And so my book, No New Ideas, basically explains that, all the different concepts in franchising or any business that you would get into, there's really no new ideas. There hasn't been a new idea in thousands of years. They all they're based off of other ideas. I mean, you look at Uber, that's a great new idea. No, it was just it was an alternative to a taxi cab. Or if you look at the Uber Eats, food delivery. Well, there's always been some food delivery. Pizza places have always been delivered, but they just took it in a different direction. That hey, we can deliver you any kind of food. You just tell us what you want, we'll go pick it up and bring it to you. So while those seem like great, revolutionary, brand new ideas, they really aren't. They're just a spin-off of another idea. And so the opportunity to write the book to help people through that process, it's really not about my franchise at all. It doesn't talk at all about Image One, other than a little bit about my history, how I got my start, some of the things that we talked about today. But it's really walking people through the process of selecting the right franchise. Do they want a home-based business? Do they want a brick and mortar business? Do they want to be in the service industry? Do they want to be in retail? Do they want to work with kids? Do they want to work with animals? There's so many different opportunities. So it walks them through that whole process to help them select the right franchise. And then we go through the whole FDD with them so that they know what the franchise disclosure document is. So that it's in very simple terms. It explains each of the different sections because it's a difficult document to pick up. Most FDDs are a couple hundred pages. And again, that's overwhelming for the average person. So this walks them through and explains what each one of those sections is all about. So that's really what the book is about.
So you wrote it primarily for franchisees.
Yeah, it's for the person that wants to get into a franchise, but they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. And
so just in case that somebody wants to order the book and wants to read about it, you can legally get it in Amazon. Just go to Amazon.
Yeah.
Google TIM space CONN book, and this is what you're gonna get. Just write the name of the book. No new ideas, right?
Yep.
And wow, 9.95. Well, that's Kindle. What is it? 12.95 paperback, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So wow. So you wrote a book. That's fantastic. I can see that you have passion for the industry. I can see that you have passion for what you do with your franchisees, and it's not like you said. It's just about selling a franchise and you're on your own, and that's it. You figure out how to make it rather than being able to sell franchises with a main mission of really helping those franchisees to be successful by teaching them how to sell, by teaching them, obviously, besides your secret sauce, how they can really build a very successful and profitable business. Do you have leaders, have a representative team?
Yeah, the internet broke up a little bit. And I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Do you have multi-units or operators, or it's a single unit model?
Yeah, most of them are single unit. A territory has about 5,000 viable businesses in it, and the average account size is about $1,000. So that gives a territory a potential of $5 million in in business in a single territory. Obviously, no one's ever going to get 100% of their territory, but if they get 1%, that's a $50,000 a month business. If they get 2%, now they're at $100,000 a month. So they don't need to come in and buy 2, 3, 4, 5 territories. They can buy a single territory. And then if they say, you know what, this is going great, I want to have a second territory, they can buy a second territory that joins their territory, or they could buy a territory in a different market. If they want to have a territory in a northern state because they love winter. No one loves winter. But they can do that. Then they can buy one that's further south, where they can go there and spend their winters where it's a little bit more mild. But the opportunity is there for multi-unit, but they don't have to buy a multi-unit and still have a successful business.
So the idea is now that anyone that is interested in acquire or becoming a franchisee of Image One, just visit the website www.imageonefranchise.com. The website is in the screen right now, so you can just learn more about their business model, learn more about their the franchise business offering, and I can see you have an awesome team behind you that is going to provide you great support, training, and all of the above. I mean, which is key in order for anyone to be successful in the franchising industry. We kind of have to wrap it up almost to the end. Anything else that you want to add? I know that I'm very happy and excited to see that you already have a significant, footprints, and I see the synergy with the Latino community. I'm sure that through the association, you guys are gonna be able to pick a lot more, Latino franchise unit, because I know some people in the community that's what they do. They clean. They work for company cleaning offices here in New York City. I'm sure that if I approach it and say, "Hey, we'd like to be on your own and be your own boss," I mean, that is a great franchise business model that you can join now and continue doing what you're doing. But now you'll be the boss and you'll be doing this, doing that. I'm sure that will be appealing for a lot of these people. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the key. And a lot of people they come to us, where they've worked in like housekeeping in a hotel, or like you said, if they worked for another cleaning company, and they've got the skill set to manage people, and they want to be in business for themselves, and that opportunity is there. And again, you nailed it. Having the support behind you, the support team to help you grow your business is huge. And I mentioned that they come to Chicago for a week of training at our office, but then after that, we send a business development manager out to their market, and we'll spend an entire week with them working in sales to help them start their first account and get it going. And then we'll send that business development manager back a second time for another full week, about a month or 6 weeks later. So they get 3 full weeks of training, that 1 week in Chicago and plus 2 weeks in their market. And we've got an inside marketing team that dials for appointments for them. So they sit in our office and they dial the phones to set appointments for our franchise owners to go out and run. So that's a huge opportunity for them, because now they've got someone setting that appointment for them. They go out, they meet with that prospect, that client, and again,
You
sticking within the community, I think, is so important for our Latino franchise owners, I always tell them, find a local chapter of a Latino chamber of commerce,
Hmm.
because those are your people that want to work with you. They want to see you succeed. They want to help you grow your new business. And if they need cleaning, if they're having a problem with their current service, you're going to be the first person that they're going to call.
Do you
And
help? Do you help with for them to apply for minority certification, which is some of those minority things to get the city or
yeah,
state or government jobs?
if they want to go after the work that is set aside for minorities, I always recommend them getting their designation. There's the women-owned business and a minority-owned business
MWB.
designation. Yep, exactly. And yeah, if that's something that they need assistance with to fill out that paperwork and get that done, we will work with them on that. Um, some government contracts can be great. Other government contracts are looking for the lowest bid. So it's not always the stuff that you want to go after. But it is definitely an opportunity. We've got a lot of franchise owners that do some that clean the local police departments, the local village halls, libraries, things like that falls underneath that type of business.
All right, all right. Any final thought? Anything else that you want to add to the conversation before we wrap it up?
I just want to say thank you, and I'm excited to be a part of your organization. I know it's going to benefit our franchise owners to be a part of your organization, and the good that I see that you guys are doing for the community is phenomenal, and that's how we want to be a part of that. To me, we're all about people helping people. We need to help each other, and we're all on the same team. We're not playing tug of war against each other. We should all be on the same side of the same side of the road, pulling it in one direction. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes we lose sight of that. People are competitive and they're working against each other. But I think there's so much opportunity for us to all work together and pull everything in one direction, and help people up that hill and get them up to the top. And that's really what I enjoy the most about being a franchisor, is helping people get to the top of their goal, helping them achieve what it is that they're looking for. Whether, like I said before, if they're looking to get a new home, or just get that new vehicle, or put their kid through college, whatever it is, it's, to me, that's the exciting part. And what I love is to see the success of our franchise owners and know that we were a part of that.
Well, that's a perfect point for me to say thank you, Tim. It's real clear to me that you understand, based on your comments. We're wired, human beings are wired to support and help each other. We're not wired to be going against each other. In fact, when we're born, we're completely helpless and 1,000% dependent on other people to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the nature of things. And the way that you've reached out and embraced people in your community to grow your business, and the focus that you've placed on writing to help people along, and you understand how that connects to your own success, is just inspiring. It's a real pleasure to hear you speak. And I wish you tremendous success. And we'll figure out a way to work, with each other, because we've got all sorts of techniques, ideas, and on how to penetrate, not only our community, but other communities, as well, and understand, as American citizens
Mm-hmm.
who've devoted our lives, to this country, what it takes to put a business in place, and what it means to the economy. So thank you, Tim.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, this is it. It's been a great pleasure, Tim, talking to you today. I mean, I see that you have a fantastic business model. Congratulations for all your accomplishment, for everything that you're doing. And we definitely see a lot of synergy, and we are very happy and excited to have you as a member of the Latino Franchise Association. And looking forward to continue collaborating, perhaps invite you to be a speaker at one of our events, and contribute and collaborate and bring some of those wonderful franchisees that you already have that has been successful.
Gracias.
Right. right?
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
Avilas, and
Yes.
participate and really share, what they have accomplished within your franchise system. So let's keep in touch, my friend. Thank you once again, and until next time. And for all of our followers, don't forget to please click like in all of our social media pages, and don't forget to follow us, and also listen to our podcast in all podcast platform nationwide. Until next time, ciao.
Latino can no longer be rendered invisible. Latinos are boosting the U.S. economy under the powerful franchising business model. It is time for change and to take actions for the business future of the Latino community.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
We stand for more opportunities for people from all walks of life. Join us to be part of the transformation of the franchising industry, where Latinos have the power to grow on a large scale.